Welcome to the source. The source.
Did you do the key?
Source.
Yep, we're live.
Hey, get the source.
Yo, what's up, everybody? Happy Monday to all. Chris is here, too. We're popping him in the stream now. Hope you all had a great weekend. I did, man. It was a good one. My football bets this week went 18-6. Actually, I'm sorry. So I said there was something I made a mistake in the video. I said my football bets this week went 18-6. I left out the Eagles team total over that got hooked on Thursday. I forgot. So it was actually 18-7.
Jesus Christ, dude.
Well,
how are we supposed to trust anything you say?
I know.
What a terrible weekend, too. Loss in there?
18-7. And
Not
honestly,
cutting
it shouldn't count because Jake Elliott missed 2 field goals and a PAT in the game, and I lost by the hook. So
yeah, that sucks. Especially that extra point. And they should have gone for 2 to go up by 17 instead of 16. Yeah, that's tough. That's a tough beat.
Tough is the perfect word to describe it, Matt. So, Matt, I'm glad you're here. You're down to stream. You're working. It's good to see you working. It's tough with Matt. You got to keep your eye on him. Sometimes he just decides not to work for a month. Just the kind of person he is.
That's definitely true.
So Matt's filling in. Lindy couldn't make it today. So actually, either tomorrow or Wednesday, we're going to have all 4 of us on. Us 3 and Lindy. That's how we'll do it. Because Lindy still wanted to come on. He just couldn't make it today. So we got Bulls and Pistons. And full disclosure, and this is, I have to make a quick announcement. I'm going to be leaning on you guys on these streams for the next couple weeks. This week is loaded for college football, and next week is Thanksgiving, so I don't have AJ and Andy for a full day. I'm not going to make them work on Thanksgiving. I'm not that crazy. I'll be working, but I'm not making them work. So I'm not only am I shorthanded a little bit, but it's like the busiest 2 weeks ever. So I didn't even look at the NBA games today. I'm going to be looking along while you guys are talking and see if I can find something. So I'm just hosting for the NBA segment just for the next 2 weeks. Once we get past Thanksgiving weekend, I'll start doing my NBA uploads where I'll really start getting into the NBA. But as of right now, I actually don't even know who's playing tonight. So I'm hearing this slate for the first time along with some of the viewers maybe. Actually, I'm sure most of the viewers have already looked at it. So, Chicago-Detroit is up first. The Pistons are laying 4.5 points. How do you like that?
That's crazy.
It is crazy. Is the point spread warranted here, Chris?
It was for me last night because I grabbed the -3. And it's so funny you said that, Kyle, because I did a show yesterday and I talked about Detroit. I actually gave them a round of applause. They were laying 5.5 on the road against the Wizards and won by 20. So that's what I said too. And I don't get it twisted. Nobody's worse than the Wizards. I guess it was warranted. I couldn't do it then, but in retrospect, I mean, why not? It's the Wizards. They're the worst team in the NBA, losing by about 20 points per game. But this is the Chicago Bulls. Both teams on the second leg of a back-to-back. It's not the greatest spot for either team. But, I mean, Chicago is just so bad right now, Kyle. I've been hitting recently. I had a really good weekend. And it's been more spot plays. This is not the greatest spot, like I just mentioned. 5th game in 7 nights for Detroit. This is also, I think, 7th game in 11 nights. But they've been playing some pretty good basketball. And the reason why I ended up laying the points here, Kyle, is because they've been playing defense. They held Washington to 104 yesterday. You know who not playing defense? The Chicago Bulls. They gave up 140 last night to Houston, 144 to Cleveland on Friday when me and you decided to take them, which we can't ever do that again on a live show ever again, Kyle. Because even though they were covering up until about 3 minutes left, they couldn't get a basket. And then I don't know if you watched the end of that game, but it put me to sleep.
I watched it, Chris. I watched it.
It put me to sleep. Like literally covering and then can't get a stop and can't get a basket. And then before that, they gave up 123 to your New York Knicks, and that was last Sunday. So it's been a whole week where they've given up 123 points or more. I just feel like when it comes down to it, Detroit will be able to get the stop that they need. And from a field goal perspective, like looking at the matchup, Chicago's not doing anything well defensively. They're 8th worst net rated team, not forcing turnovers at all. Allowing teams to shoot 38% from the 3-point line, which is the 5th highest. So I do think that if a team is going to beat Detroit, it's going to be because they can play a little defense. And the Chicago Bulls are telling me right now through their actions that they're not playing any defense. So I laid the 3 here, got in early on the number.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at the game logs as you're talking, and the Bulls' last 3 games, the opponent effective field goal percentage, 59%, 66.1%, 57.1%. So 3 games in a row where the Bulls posted a terrible defensive rating. And, I mean, if we isolate it to just the last 3 games, which is a small sample size, the Pistons should dominate the battle on the boards. Yeah, I guess the line makes sense. Matt, you have anything for us?
Yeah, I do have an actual play on this one, something that I actually bet. I have a lot of lean today, which is the only reason why I say that. I took Vooch 20+ points. Decent buy low opportunity here. He's been super consistent. He scored at least 20 points in 8 of 14 games. And in the 6 games he went under, one of them he scored 19, so just would have gotten the hook there. And 3 separate times he scored exactly 18. Obviously, being 1 bucket away is the thing that happens, but it just kind of shows you what floor he has. And I like this as a buy low, fade recent results type of play. Bulls are just coming off of a brutal game yesterday. They got blasted by 36 points. Vooch only played 25 minutes, only scored 9 points. As long as this game stays relatively close, as long as we're not looking at a 30-point game heading into the fourth quarter, we should get at least 30 minutes. Only twice he's played fewer than that, and they're both just massive blowouts heading into the fourth quarter. And it's a good matchup against the Pistons. Their defense isn't as bad as last year, but they're still allowing the 5th most points per game to centers, and that makes sense. You just look at where their defense is weak, where they give up the most points. 5th most points to pick and roll man, and the 3rd most field goal attempts to players via post up. Their actual efficiency guarding the post up is decent, which is why I use the field goal attempts as opposed to points allowed. But they're still just allowing big men that, like I said, 5th most points via roll man, and then 3rd most field goal attempts to the position. That's how Vooch scores the most and the 2nd most of his points via roll man and in the post. 4 straight starting centers against the Pistons have hit their point props. 7 of 9 have overall, and that includes backups. I get that, again, last year is a different season, but Vooch hit this in 3 or 4 games against the Pistons last year, scoring 21, 25, and 27 points. Hopefully he can just get us to 20 tonight. I got it at plus 105, and then when I checked earlier, it was at plus 115. I meant to pull up the price just to get the most accurate odds. Give me 1 second. Right now, you can get 20 plus at, looks like it's back down to plus 105. So that's where I took it. Obviously, I would still play it there.
Yeah, what is with the Vooch love in the NBA this year?
He's been on fire, dude. He's been on fire.
Prop Beaver hates Vucevic. Hates him.
He probably lost
what it is
a
he's fucking softy. What type of center doesn't like to attack the rim? It's just it's a sin and it's disgraceful.
He called it a sin. Someone said Chris looks like the type of guy that would be really knowledgeable about mortgage rates. I actually at 4.5. I kind of lean towards Chicago. But I'm not. We don't even have to do it because, like I said,
hey, to that comment, Kyle, I was a realtor back in the day.
Oh, for real?
Real estate, yeah.
Yo, he nailed it.
There we go.
Let's move on to the next one. Really knowledgeable about mortgage rates. Wizards, Knicks. I mean, you guys have anything on this one?
I'll go first real quick. I didn't bet this one. I did bet Chicago -3 yesterday. I didn't bet this one, Kyle, but looking at the Wizards, this is a game where the total keeps continuing to go up. I don't necessarily think I agree with it. I know Washington has been playing fast, but who's betting on the Knicks to score 125 points? Not that they can't in this spot, but I don't think the Wizards get to their team total. It's 109.5. The Knicks team total just continues to go up. I saw that McBride got ruled out. I think he's not going to play, which makes sense. I mean, a couple of people from the Scream could get together and beat the Washington Wizards right now. So they definitely don't need to play him on the second leg of a back-to-back. Both of these teams playing on the second leg of a back-to-back, of course. This line was at 11.5 last night, and I saw it balloon all the way to 14. I'm not sure what it's at right now, but the cap for the team total is just that you got Washington playing. They played 1 back-to-back so far this season. They scored 92 points against Houston. They've been double-digit road dogs twice this season. They scored 92 points against Houston and 94 points against the Magic. I do think that the Knicks can win this game by not having to go out there and score 125 points. Washington ranks 27th in offensive efficiency over the last 5 games, 24th in effective field goal percentage, 21st in offensive rebounds, so they're not getting a lot of rebound chances, 28th in free throw rate. They're not shooting a bunch of free throws. And in the half court, they're averaging just 88 points per possession over the last 5 games, ranked 27th in that department as well. They're not running in transition either, 17th in transition, 18th in points scored per possession, off of transition buckets last 5 games. I don't think they need to score 124 points. So I would take the Wizards team total under 109.5.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the game logs as you're talking, and as a Knicks fan, starting to see what I like to see. In the last 5 games, the Knicks have had a 52.2% rebound rate or better. They've won the rebounding battle handedly in 6 straight games. They've won the rebounding battle. And the reason that's kind of I don't want to say a sight for sore eyes or whatever, but the reason you love to see that if you're a Knicks fan is that's what the Knicks were so dominant on the offensive glass last year. They were actually the best offensive rebounding team in the NBA. So glad to see Thibodeau's Knicks getting active on the glass. Also, very impressive defensive rebounding numbers. Yeah, Knicks started to round out the form. I would actually lean towards laying it here with the big number. But
only lay it, Cal.
Yeah.
123.9 points scored per 100 possessions. This team is losing by an average of 20.1 points. They're getting outscored by 20.1 points per 100 possessions over the last 5 games out of Wizards.
Yeah, Knicks are pass. Chris, I mean, Matt. Oh, by the way, do you not tell people your name's Matt, Bodai? Because someone in the comments was like, "Oh, we know the Jedi's real name now." I didn't know you didn't tell people that. My bad.
I don't know. It's not a secret. I think I said every morning.
You just
I'm Matt
doxed his
Bodai.
ass.
Oh, so all right, Matt. All right, Matthew. What do you like for this one?
Technically, legally, it is Matthew. So I locked in Karl Anthony Towns points and rebounds. I got over 36.5. When I last checked, it was 37.5. Now it's at over 38.5. And honestly, I'd probably hold off at that number. If it goes back down to 37.5, I'd probably take it. At 38.5, that's just a little too high. I mean, the matchup and everything is great. If this game stays close, he'll get 50 points plus rebounds just because this matchup. I mean, the Wizards give up literally the most points per game to centers and the most rebounds per game to centers as well. It is like the best matchup you could possibly get for Karl Anthony Towns points and rebounds. And he's been really good. The beginning of the year, the scoring was weird with him, but I kind of figured that out. And he's been really good as a rebounder, and they need it. I mean, Josh Hart's rebounding is down because it's going to Cat, and they don't have Robinson. Obviously, Hartenstein's not even on the team anymore. And in terms of how Cat scores, the Wizards allow the 3rd most points per game to pick and roll Roman, 2nd most points via free throws. Those are the 2 areas on the court in which Cat scores the most. I generally try to avoid players when they're on a heater, but this matchup and the price was too good to pass up at 36.5. It's not quite too good to pass up at 38.5. But yeah, if you can get 37.5 somewhere, I would take it. If not, I'd probably just hold off. The only other play so I'm not just giving out a line that doesn't exist is Jordan Poole. 3-pointers I liked. You can get over 2.5. Even that got nuked. Man, these odds are moving. It was minus 125. Now it's minus 145.
This is the prop game we play.
Yeah. All right. So we're going to go Jordan Poole 20 plus points. You can still get a good price minus 108. Sorry about that. It's just like these odds change so goddamn quickly. The Knicks allow the highest frequency of shots be pull-up 3-point attempts. Like the Cat thing, they haven't really figured him out on defense yet. Poole's been good. Like he's hit this in 3 straight. Earlier this year, he hit it in 4 straight. So I think for one more game, we can count on Poole to not go like 5 of 24 from the field.
So this is the comments today, man. Someone said Modai's the type of guy that knows 4 public accountants, and the other guy said Modai's the type of guy that demands his bros take him to the winery on his birthday.
Oh, I'm not a wine guy. If you change that to like I don't know, like a retro video game store, that'd be a way more accurate description.
Yeah, is that what you meant? A retro video game store, Nintendo Land? Next game.
Yeah, exactly.
Blockbuster.
If they're still around. Blockbuster's dead. Philadelphia, Miami. And I just want to say, Matt, my heart goes out to the city. Just couldn't happen to a nicer group of folks. Couldn't happen to a nicer group of people. I mean, the people of Philadelphia deserve better. And just my heart goes out, man. Just couldn't happen to a nicer group. So
every day on this stream, you try to goat me into defending the Sixers and Joel Embiid, which I will not do. He's sick. Wait, guy's never gotten sick before. Normally, you can rely on him to play basketball. He's just sick tonight. That's the only problem. He's sick. Normally, he'd be good. I passed. I'm not touching this game. No way.
Yeah, I mean, Philadelphia is now 1-8 in their last 9 games, 2-7 against the number. I have my the game logs up, and I have it set where a positive offensive rating comes back green and the negative offensive rating comes back red. The Philadelphia 76ers have posted 1 green offensive rating this entire season. So of all of 12 of their basketball games, they've only played 1 above average offensive game all year. So, yeah, they suck. And again, people of Philadelphia, yeah, thoughts and prayers, man. It couldn't happen to a nicer group. So I guess it would only be Heat. Chris, do you have anything on this one?
Yep, I actually tried to get ahead of the number yesterday. And I woke up this morning and had a little CLV. I did play the Heat in this spot. I'm going to catch the falling knife. Don't like it as much since, Joel Embiid needs a little Clarington and can't play. Give him some Tylenol and get his ass out there. But I'm just like All right, so you mentioned it, Kyle. This team has the lowest amount of wins, not in the Eastern Conference though, in all of basketball. Like the Jazz have 3 wins, and they have 2.
What about the Raptors?
They're tied. I was about to say that. Let me hold on, Water. They're tied with the Raptors for the worst amount of wins, but also they have the worst offense in the NBA. They're averaging like 104, 106 points per game. Like if this isn't the spot, it's strictly a spot play, because we talked about the other day. I said Joel Embiid comes back. I want to fade him the first couple games. I really liked them against the Knicks the other day. I didn't play it. I'm an idiot. I really liked them against I really liked who did they play after that?
Magic.
The Magic. I said that the Magic were going to beat them. I didn't play that. But I think this is the spot. This is the first game for the Indiana Pacers for the Miami Heat back home off a 6-game road trip.
Wait. You took Philly
yesterday? I took Philly.
Oh, he's on Philly.
I took Philly.
Oh, I thought you'd like the Heat. Okay.
No, absolutely not. I took Philly plus. I took Philly plus the 3.5 yesterday. Then I wake up. Joel Embiid got a little tummy ache, and all of a sudden he might not play. He better get his ass out. I need him to be out there tonight, because if he plays, it's a perfect fade spot here. This was the strongest reason that I played the Bulls last week, Kyle, when we both won them against your Knicks, because you fade teams first game back home after 6 straight road games, and that's the spot for the Miami Heat. Jaime Jaquez Jr. isn't there tonight. They also unrested as well. And I do think that when it comes down to it, Philly has been playing a little bit better defense. So I'm going to just rely on that. That's a 2-day rest advantage here. I mean, if you ever heard of a desperation spot, it's this one right here. So I took the plus 3.5. You can get a much better number with the plus 5. I do like the plus 5. I think Joel Embiid sucks it up. Get him some Tums and get his ass out there. Him and PG get a win for the city tonight.
Yeah, I could definitely see it. So the Sixers coming into this one rested. Yes, they'll be without Embiid and Maxey, which sucks, and they look terrible. But they're coming into this one with 2 days rest. Miami returning from a road trip, and the last 3 games of that road trip were big Eastern Conference games. The one with the Pistons went to overtime. Then back-to-back games in Indiana against the Pacers. Come home on a back-to-back with no days rest. If there was ever a spot for Philadelphia to get a win, it is here. How about this, Prop Beaver? Type me up. Heat team total over under 108.5. What do we think about that? Heat team total under 108.5.
Yeah, I mentioned, just real quick from what I goes, I mentioned that the Heat have been playing, not the Heat, the Sixers have been playing some good defense. I think they are 6 rated defense last 5 games, only giving up 111.6 points per 100 possessions. The Heat played at snail's pace. Philly also playing bottom 5 pace. In bottom 5, as you mentioned, bottom 3 in offensive efficiency. So, yeah, it's going to make sense if they win. It won't be a 125 to 123 game. So I could get there with that team total as well.
I just wrote that down on a list of bets I might possibly make after the stream, and I might place this because I feel like if the Heat cover, it's because the Philadelphia 76ers offense is truly so bad that they only score 90 points. So, all right, let's move on to the next one. Indiana, Toronto. Short line here, but the reason being Indiana just played a game at home last night against the Heat. Immediately fly up to Toronto. So not the greatest spot for the Pacers. That's probably the reason for the short line. Pacers played the Celtics a couple days back, so at least they had a day off. Is this a sneaky Raptor spot, Chris?
I don't know, Kyle. I kind of want to get there. I kind of feel like if you go through the Pacers box scores, the recent ones, they've been like just really inconsistent. And I think that inconsistency comes from not having what's his name? It's 2 guys. It's Neesmith and Nembhard. So you're not going to get consistent play out of Shepherd off the bench, out of Walker out the bench. So I think they needed that win yesterday. They actually got booed. Like their home crowd was booing them the other day when they lost to the Heat. So they come back, they do what they're supposed to do. I did cash a ticket on them yesterday, but now I'm seeing that it's a couple injuries. A couple guys popped up on the injury report. They could potentially be without Miles Turner in this spot. I think if Miles Turner doesn't play, you only take over. He's the only person that's on the whole entire floor that plays defense for both sides of the game. So I think it's a little bit of an over spot. I don't want to take the points with Toronto, Kyle, because you mentioned at least they do have 1 day's rest advantage, but they're coming off an overtime game against Boston where they were getting 16 and went to overtime. So that's not the greatest spot. They've also played 6 of their last 7 games on the road. So they've been back and forth traveling. So I don't like the spot for either team. I would look towards the over, if anything at all. We know it's going to be a fast-paced game with the Pacers, and I do think they can continue to score.
That's the thing, though. Do we know it's going to be a fast-paced game? Because I don't even – if I'm looking at the game logs here in the last 6 games, the Pacers haven't even been running that fast of a pace, and the Raptors haven't either. So,
yeah, Pacers have been middle of the pack.
Why? What happened? Why are they running so slow?
Because their offense isn't as good, but the Raptors' defense isn't as good either. So as long as they can rebound the basketball, especially if Miles Turner doesn't play, like he's the only person that plays defense. I think we see faster pace. If you're the Pacers, right? If you're Rick Carlisle, aren't you telling them just to run fast as you can up and down the floor? Like you're not out there trying to get stops against the Raptors, are you? On the second leg of a back-to-back, traveling from Indiana to Toronto.
All right. Over 234 for Chris. I kind of like the under. Modi.
You already know where I'm going in this game. I won't make the people in here uncomfortable. I'll just say I'm taking Grady Dick 20+ points.
Hold on. There's allegations, and I don't have firsthand knowledge of this. There's allegations that you and your group of cretins over there on your YouTube channel refer to yourselves as Dick Riders because you've been playing Grady Dick.
That's correct.
And you guys, that's what you call yourselves.
Yeah.
Oh, all right.
I
proceed then.
Yeah. So I'm taking Grady Dick 20+ points. He's had a slower last 2 games. So the last time I was on here, when I was waxing poetic about Grady Dick, he scored 32 points against the Bucks. No big deal. He's been cold since. 16 points, 9 points in his last 2 games. Shot 4 of 17, 3 of 12 in those 2 games, 1 of 10 and 1 of 5 from deep. Terrible shooting numbers. That's going to regress. Great matchup against the Pacers, which we'll get into. But with Barnes and quickly out, he's going to play 30+ minutes. In the 8 games that those two have missed where he's played, he's averaging over 34 minutes per game. Only once did he play below 30 minutes. And if we just look at the 7 games in which he did play at least 30, scored 20 points in 5 of 7, averaging 23.7 points per game. Again, the only 2 that he missed were the most recent 2 games that he's played. Averages like 8.5 more points per 36, usage rate 25%. That's second highest usage rate on the team, just behind RJ Barrett. And their Pacers defense is not good. 23rd in defensive net rating. They give up the most points per game via isolation, 6th most points per game to pick and roll ball handler. So if you just have the ball in your hands, you're going to be good. They also allow the 4th most points off screens and also the 4th most via free throws. Looking at the play type for Grady Dick is a little bit wonky because his role is entirely different depending on who's playing, and you can't filter like play type with and without certain players. So it's kind of just all we have. But 40% of his points come from screens and free throws. And again, 4th worst, the Pacers defense. And that's not even mentioning ISO and pick and roll, which I said the worst and the 6th worst. So Grady Dick, 20+ points. I got it at +105. You can currently get it at +100, which I would still take it at that number.
All right, let's skip over to the next one. To be honest, I would want to take a sneaky shot on the Raps here if I was betting it, but
hey Cal, to your point, Pacers finished 3-11, straight up 4-10 against the number last season when they were unrested.
Yeah, I remember that.
9-5 to the over. Last 6 games have actually gone over, dating back to last season when they played on the second leg of a back-to-back.
Okay, so maybe I think Raps, and maybe at +3.5.
I didn't bet it.
Yeah.
I didn't bet it.
I'll add Raptors as a possibility. I don't think I bet that one though.
Some of these comments are crazy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, when you and your people call yourselves that, you open the door. You open the door.
What do you expect? Yeah,
you're putting it on a tee for them. All right. Next up is Houston, Milwaukee. What's the injury report for this one? Let's see.
Dame is back.
Yeah, Dame's playing.
I think Steven Adams was off the injury report. He was listed as questionable, but I think he's going to be in too. And was that it? Did I miss anything?
It looks like both these teams are in pretty good shape. Obviously, still no Middleton, but he's been out the whole year. So yeah, it looks like the Rockets are in pretty good shape. No Cam Whitmore. That's it. Yeah. Damn, tough one to call. I would lean towards. Actually, I don't know. Chris, what do you think?
I think Houston has been like super solid this season. I know they're on the second leg of a back-to-back, but they beat Chicago by like 120. None of the starters played more than 28 minutes yesterday. I think Fred VanVleet led the team in minutes. And they're a super young team outside of Fred VanVleet. I kind of think that they can go into Houston, Dame first game back after missing 3 straight games. I'm not in the business of laying points with Minnesota with Milwaukee right now. I know that they need, some confidence boosting wins, but they've not showed me anything as of late, Cal, to want to lay points with them. This team is 5-7-1 against the 4-9 against the number straight up, 5-7-1 against the number in the first half. And you got a Rockets team that's 9-5 straight up, 9-5 against the spread. The reason why they are 9-5 straight up and against the spread, and I think number 3 or number 4 in the Western Conference, is because they've been playing defense. They've held 11 of their 13 opponents under their team total. I kind of think we see a slow-paced game here. I kind of think that Houston potentially, maybe they run out of gas late. I think a first half is something that's in line as well. The Bucks have been laying points 5 times at the crib so far as a home favorite. In the first half, 1-3-1 against the number. I'm not putting my money on that. So I think even if you don't like don't like Houston for the full game, you take them early just in case they do run out of gas here. But I honestly don't think that they do. I'm not laying points with Milwaukee. So it's Bucks or nothing for me. I mean, it's Houston or nothing for me, but I didn't bet it. And I would lean towards the first half versus the full game, I think.
Well, Houston does seem to be getting it together, but it also looks like their pace is picking up, Chris. In the beginning of the year, they're running super slow pace. Looks like they're picking up the pace. They're 4-0 straight up, 4-0 against, actually 5-0. They won 5 in a row. 4-0 against the spread in their last 4, but they're on a back-to-back. Matt?
Another play that I like, but I didn't end up betting it. Fred VanVleet over 2.5 made 3-pointers. It was plus 115 when I last checked. Let me just make sure that is still the best price. But it's a play against this Bucks defense. I mean, I talk about it all the time. It's just their drop coverage. Yeah, still plus 115. Drop coverage leads to a ton of pull-up three-point opportunities. They allow the 3rd most pull-up three-point attempts in the NBA and the 2nd highest frequency of shots against them are pull-up three-pointers. It's the drop coverage. Doc has run it since 2000 when he coached the Orlando Magic. He doesn't make adjustments. That's just, he does what he does. And Fred VanVleet, like between him and Jalen Green, they're really the only two that take volume above the break and pull-up three-pointers. VanVleet takes the 2nd most behind Jalen Green, but the odds are way better. It's plus 115 for VanVleet. It's minus 130 for Green. And I think that it's a little bit better for VanVleet because they're just going to run Dame in pick and roll, and then Brook Lopez is going to drop on the coverage, and then he's just going to leave him wide open from 3. So it was a slow start for VanVleet shooting, but he's been good recently. And I'll keep that going in this matchup. So, yeah, that's where I went, VanVleet.
I would lean towards the Rockets side. I know they're on a back-to-back, but they were 8-5-1 against the number on back-to-backs last year. One of the most profitable teams on back-to-back in the NBA. I mean, the Rockets have been the better team. Straight
by
up.
far. It's not even close, guys.
Did
you see the wins that the Bucks have this season? Like when it came, they beat Toronto. They beat
home
Toronto.
against the Raptors, home against the Pistons that went to overtime. Yeah,
the Pistons were on the 2nd leg of a back-to-back in that game, and they beat the Sixers. But who hasn't?
I'm putting the Rockets on my possibility list. All right. Let's move on to the next one. Orlando Phoenix. The Durantless Phoenix Suns. Bradley Beal questionable. You know what, though? Wendell Carter being out in addition to Banchero kind of sucks. Makes this one tough. Suns are catching 4 at home. Is that right? 4.5 now?
Yeah, this line move, Cal, this opened at minus 1.5 in favor of the Phoenix Suns last night.
Yeah, I mean, it has to.
They flipped.
The Suns are returning home from a road trip with no days off. That sucks.
Yep. And Nurkic just got rolled out.
Nurkic's out, yeah.
It doesn't even say that on my. Let me refresh the page.
Yep,
there it is.
Yep.
So Bradley Beal has been ruled out. He's no longer questionable. That must have just been announced. Because I literally refreshed the page and it popped up. So no Nurkic. I still would lean Suns here. I'm not doing it, though. I'm not betting the Suns, but I still would lean Suns here. Yes, whenever this happens, this dates back a couple years now with this new Magic team. When they have a long home stretch and they go back on the road, it's a beautiful sell high spot. This Orlando Magic is they're very different on the road. And then after they play a handful of home games in a row and go on the road, obviously they've looked good for a while. So people are like, this Magic team's official. And then they go back on the road and everyone's like, oh yeah, I forgot that this team isn't that great. Plus missing Wendell Carter and Banchero. It would only be Suns for me here. You could just put Suns up.
Yeah, and I it's hard for me to agree with you, Kyle, but I agree with you here. I think if you wanted Orlando, you wanted them last night when they were plus money, a plus 1.5. The thing that stands out to me and why I agree with you, Kyle, is because Orlando doesn't take care of the basketball. Remember last year when you beat the Orlando Magic, it's because you scored 25 points off turnovers. I know it's not the greatest spot for the Suns, but I do think they'll be motivated. This was a team that just got smoked by OKC. And then, of course, they lose the game yesterday on a buzzer beater to Julius Randle. like with no time left. So, I mean, it's still going to be pissed off. Devin Booker, is still there. You still got Grayson Allen. Josh Okogie played really well for them last night. I think if you wanted Orlando, you probably wanted to get in already. So it'd be Suns here or nothing for me. And I didn't get involved last night because if the Suns would have won yesterday, I'd be all over Orlando thinking that they could get the job done. But I think the Suns are still going to be super feisty and motivated in the game that they probably should have won yesterday if they didn't turn the ball over so much against the Minnesota Timberwolves.
Morai?
Yeah, I got nothing. I didn't play this one. Just too much uncertainty on both sides. I didn't play it.
Let's move on to the next one. Hawks Kings in Sacramento. Oh, I have a bet in this game, but I'm just tailing Wags from the Discord. He put this up as his favorite bet of the day. Didn't even ask why. I just said, I'll tail. I'm on the under. Did Andy make a graphic? Did he even check? Yeah, there it is.
Yeah, he made the over graphic.
Oh, my God. I'm on the under.
So the opposite of what you see on the screen.
And
that's my bet.
Andy's Andy's got a case of the Mondays. So, yeah. But like I said, literally just tailing Wags from the Discord. He's a sharp guy, and he posted, like, top bet of the day. And he's not the type of person that just, like, says that all the time. So he must really like it. I got it at 37.5. Is that still... Looks like it. No, 37.5. You can still get that. It's 37.5 across the board. So under 37.5, just tailing somebody here.
Yeah, it's not a game that I bet, Cal, but I was waiting for the news. So Atlanta did play last night. They lost to Portland in a game that they were winning the whole entire game. And I'm of the mindset that if I do want to play Atlanta, I typically want to be taking points. I'm not laying points with them. They were favorites yesterday, and they lost the game outright. I think, pretty short travel here. I could see them, bouncing back in this game. When I look at this, the Sacramento side of things, I think, don't quote me on this, but I want to say last time I saw Sabonis was listed as questionable. Doubtful. He's listed as doubtful for this game.
I think he's out.
Is he out? I see doubtful.
Not confirmed, but I think it's all for.
I think it's like, okay.
Yeah.
So all right. So no Sabonis if he doesn't play. You're also without Monk. You're still without DeRozan. I'm not sure if I want to be laying points with Sacramento in this spot. I feel like Atlanta has enough offense, maybe not enough defense, but who is out there scoring besides Keegan Murray and maybe Kevin Huerter against his old team? Like I think Atlanta plus the points is a good number here. I'm not laying with Sacramento without all their firepower here in this game. So it'd be Atlanta plus the points, but this is one that I did not bet.
Morai?
Yeah, I didn't bet the one I have either, but if I were to bet it, it would be Fox over his assists. It was minus 104 at Caesars when I checked. And I think it moved a little bit, but as long as you're not paying like minus 120, minus 125, I would still take it at that number. And it is, minus 104, same thing, minus 104 at Caesars. This is really just a zag. Everybody's like, his points is just crazy. Like I get that he scored 100 points the last two games, whatever, but his point prop is like 33.5, 32.5. That's insane for De'Aaron Fox. And I get it. Like it's a horrible matchup and there's nobody else on the team, but that's just too rich for my blood. And the thing about the Hawks, it's like, you can score on them, but they're like any way you want it. They give up the 7th most assists per game to point guard. So they're terrible at guarding the pick and roll ball handler. They're also the 5th worst defense guarding spot up shooters. They allow the 6th most catch and shoot 3-point attempts as well. Those are all assisted plays. Fox is going to have the ball in his hands basically every single possession. I get that could lead to points, but like he's probably going to get the Dyson Daniels matchup, which I'm guessing would lead to more assists for him. I didn't make it an official play because if he drops 50 again, I'm going to feel dumb. But I would just zag and take Fox assists because he still went over this number last game and he scored 49 points. So it's not like he can't do both.
There's Wags in the comment, by the way. WAGC Wags. If you're looking who to blame if this loses, that's the guy. But I'm looking at the game logs here, and Sacramento has been running a really slow pace. 7 of their last 8 games have had a slow pace. 92, 94, 97, 96, 97, 96. That's possessions per, possessions per 48 minutes or whatever the hell that metric is. But it's below average pace in 7 of their last 8 games. So although the Hawks are obviously an over team to the maximum, they run a fast pace and play no defense. They're on the road in Sacramento, a team that's been running a slow pace. Not to mention, as Chris mentioned, missing some of their scorers there. Sacramento coming into this one a little hobbled. So, all right, I'm tailing Wags on the under. Next. Golden State versus the Clippers. Oh, this is a cool one. Either you guys have anything in this one?
Another one that I didn't bet, Kyle. I think I just saw Looney is going to be out tonight. And then Steph is still on the injury report. If I wanted Golden State, I think I would have got in last night. They were laying, I think, 2 when this line first opened. You got the Clippers on the second leg of a back-to-back. They did kind of take care of the Jazz pretty easily, but this is a revenge game. Outside of it being a revenge game, because I think Golden State's only home loss so far came against this Clippers team. And then it's a divisional game as well. So that immediately made me want to think under. But I really want to see what happens with Steph before I play it. I don't think the Clippers utilized a lot of energy yesterday to beat the Jazz. They beat them pretty handily. Starters were, out of the game in the fourth quarter when they needed to be able to rest. So I stayed off of this one. Maybe I get there late with something, but I need to see if Steph's going to play.
Someone said, I want Kyle to apologize for calling Herbert not elite. Man, I took the Chargers team total over and the Bengals team total over because I was expecting both quarterbacks to go nuclear last night. I was gassing Herbert up all week, man. But
I went with Steph 25 plus points at plus 100. I get that he participated in shoot-around, so I guess that he plays. If he doesn't, you just get it refunded, so no issues there. It's minus 105 now, and I would still take it there. It's not the best matchup in the world, but it's not a bad one. And I think it's a good buy low spot on Steph points. He only scored 13 last time out against the Grizzlies. But what's good about Steph is he scores literally an equal number of points per game, either as the pick and roll ball handler or off screens. He's not just heavy one or the other. And the Clippers aren't necessarily a defense that you'd want to avoid for the pick and roll ball handler. They're middle of the pack. I think they give up the 12th, 13th most points, something like that. But they allow the 7th most points per game off screens and the 7th most above the break 3-point attempts as well. And the 7th highest frequency of shots against them also come from pull-up 3-pointers. All that stuff's Steph's bread and butter. Over 50% of his field goal attempts are above the break 3-pointers. Admittedly, his overall volume is down from 3-point attempts if you look at last year versus this year. But it's Steph Curry. I think that's going to normalize as he gets more time and starts playing heavier minutes and stuff like that. So it's a low prop, which you don't see for Steph a lot. I get why, because it's not like he's consistently gone over it, but he had a stretch where he scored 30 back-to-back games. Only had 13 points last time. I think it's just a good buy low spot in a good matchup that he's going to get up for. So yeah, Steph 25 plus points.
Steph 25 plus points. I would lean towards Golden State here at the short line if I was to bet this one, by the way. All right. Oh, football's up next. Modai, you sticking around for football?
Sure.
All right, cool. Chris, did you want to stick around for football? We have it set up for 3 people, though.
Nah, I'm good. I'm going to get out of here. I'm not betting the game tonight.
All right, you guys know where to find Chris's stuff. That's his Twitter handle right beneath his face there. Also does his own YouTube channel, does a morning show, I think around 7:30 a.m. Eastern time. Appreciate you taking the time. Chris, talk to you later.
Absolutely. Best of luck tonight, fellas.
See you, Chris.
All right. Monday Night Football.
What a game.
What a game is right. Prop Beaver is joining us to talk about the Cowboys. Prop Beaver 7-2 yesterday.
Look at Prop Beaver showing his face, giving out some bets.
Homie with the big feet was shitting on my Will Disley prop. Not 1, not 2, but 3 receptions of 15 plus yards, my friend. Don't hate on Will Disley.
That's Prop Beaver's biggest supporter too. The big feet guy.
Big homie with the
Will
big
Disley?
feet.
No.
For you to doubt me like that, you're one of my biggest believers. That hurt a bit. Not gonna lie. So
you heard him. You
hurt me. You friggin' hurt me last night.
All right. Prop Beaver's going to set up the screen and get the poll going and all of that. All right, Matt. We got Texans, Cowboys, and personally, I don't think we can trust. Look, we know the Cowboys offense looks terrible with Cooper Rush, and we know against Houston's defense, even without Will Anderson, there's not much reason to have hope for the Cowboys defense. Cowboys offense consistently moving the ball and scoring points in this game. There's just not. I know the Cowboys had some success with Cooper Rush at quarterback a couple of years ago, but at the time the Cowboys were built completely different than they are now. That was a top 3, top 4 defense at the time. They were on a particular heater. I believe in the Cooper Rush games where they went 4-1, they were allowing about 15 points a game. So no one could move the ball on Dallas back then. Also, Cowboys could run the ball back then. The offensive line was in a bit better shape than it is now. Not that the Cowboys offensive line is terrible right now, but they also had a run game. So The fact that the Cowboys went 4-1 with Cooper Rush at quarterback 2 years ago, it's almost irrelevant because this Cowboys team is not nearly as good as that Cowboys team. So I don't have much faith in the Cowboys offensively. But on the other side of the ball, I think C.J. Stroud could have a really rough outing here. I know Nico Collins is back, and everyone's just like, Texans' problems are solved. Nico Collins is back. And it's almost like we all completely forgot that this Houston offense looked pretty terrible before he even got hurt. Through the first 5 games of the year with Nico Collins on the field, they were averaging, 20 points per game? I believe it's 20.4 points per game. This offense was not looking good. C.J. Stroud is not having a good year. And that was before Nico Collins even got hurt. That was with Nico Collins and Steph Diggs. Obviously, there's still no Diggs. Getting Nico Collins back is huge, without a doubt. But this is still not even anything close that resembles a top 10 offense. They're going to have to prove it to me. They haven't looked good at all. And Nico Collins just coming back, I'm not going to be like, Houston, we're good. Not to mention, they're on the road. And C.J. Stroud is not the same quarterback on the road he hasn't been over the course of his career. Do you know last year when C.J. Stroud was going off, right? C.J. Stroud had a monster rookie year last year. You want to know how many touchdown passes he threw on the road all last season? 6 touchdown passes the entire year on the road. Through 17 at home, just 6 on the road. He's not the same guy on the road. Yards per attempt down, passer rating down. Every single measurable metric is down on the road. So we got a Houston Texans offense that hasn't looked right all year. In fact, just go strictly by the numbers, this is a bottom 10 offense this year. On the road, where C.J. Stroud is worse, against a Cowboys defense that, look, I know it hasn't been great this year. Pass rush might be back with a rested Micah Parsons. The pass rush was getting after Jalen Hurts last week. It wasn't really noticeable because the Eagles beat the life out of the Cowboys. But Jalen Hurts was the most pressured quarterback in the NFL last week. 63% of his dropbacks, which the next closest was 52%. So Jalen Hurts was the most pressured quarterback in the NFL last week by far. That was against the Eagles' offensive line, which is actually good. Houston's offensive line has been terrible. They're 30th in pressure rate allowed. I think C.J. Stroud's going to be under duress here, and I know people are saying maybe Joe Mixon can run the ball in the Cowboys defense. The Cowboys defense has been pretty bad against the run. Man, Houston has not been running the ball. I believe they're averaging 3.3 yards per carry in their last 3 games. The run game has not been good. That offensive line is not generating push. I think Houston's offense is going to struggle here. Now, do I think the Texans win the game? Of course, because the Cowboys offense, I don't know how they're going to do a damn thing. They're going to have to try to run the ball on Houston, which is probably going to be a little comical. This is the bet I placed. The under. This line is gone. It's at 41 now. If I was betting it right now, honestly, I'd probably still take the under at 41, even at the new number. So I'm on the under here. This is the bet I placed. I also, on the video last night, I said Rico Dowdle touchdown scorer. That was more just like if you're looking to play something else. I think after Zeke fumbled on the goal line, if you noticed, so last week against the Eagles, Rico Dowdle was making plays. They got the ball down the field. They brought Zeke in on like the 4 to get the touchdown, which is Jerry Jones as fuck. Like, let's get Zeke at the touchdown for the fans. Everyone wearing Zeke jerseys. They love it. He fumbles. And if you notice, they got into the first and goal again. Dowdle was in there. So I think the whole Zeke getting the goal line carries, I think that ship has sailed because even the fans don't even want to see it. So I think Rico Dowdle to score a touchdown might be cool. But as far as the Cowboys passing attack, I'm not expecting shit. We know Houston's more than capable of generating pressure without Will Anderson. We saw it last week against Detroit. They were getting some pressure on Jared Goff without Will Anderson. They also get Mario Edwards back from suspension. He's been suspended the last 4 games, so they add a piece back to their defensive line that hasn't been there. So I think Cowboys offensively are going to be in prison here against a Texans defense that's really good. I just like the matchup for both defenses. I think the shocking part of this game, the quote-unquote hot take for this game would be the Cowboys defense looks good. That's my opinion. I went under. This is the bet I have. Rico Dowdle touchdown scorer if you want to get silly.
Moda, you could go next because I hate this game.
Yes, I mean, it's definitely not a good game. The CJ Stroud thing is like last year, he also played the majority of his road games were against good defenses. So if you look at his splits between home road and versus like top half versus bottom half defense, they're like just as dramatic. So it's hard to know like chicken or egg thing. Is it the defense or is it the home road? But regardless, nothing you said was incorrect. I just wanted to point out
that's fair. That's fair.
It was it was also a defense thing. Like, is the Cowboys defense good or not? I don't know if that necessarily matters. Either way, I have 2 plays in this one. Number 1, I went with Rico Dowdle 4+ receptions. You can get this at plus 162. The odds just got like steamed over the course of the day. I got it at a worse price at plus 130. Obviously, I would take it at 162. This is just like betting on a backup quarterback to check the ball down to the running back. Last week, Dowdle got 3 receptions, but Cooper Rush threw for 45 yards, and Dowdle only played 50% of the snaps. He's going to play more than 50% if we believe what Mike McCarthy said, which for what it's worth, the Coach Speak Index, if you guys know that Twitter account, they like literally rate how like honest coaches are. McCarthy is honest in his press conferences. So if we believe that, then Dowdle should get the majority of snaps. He's only played like above 50% of the snaps, like 52% once this year. And he had 7 receptions in that game. It was the Falcons game. And last week, notwithstanding, it's just like a backup quarterback, like I said, checking the ball down. CeeDee Lamb's probably going to play, but who knows how healthy he is. Jake Ferguson is going to play, but he was questionable with an illness, like in missed practice on Saturday. It's just like a gross situation. And again, it's checking the ball down to the running back. I also did back Nico Collins. I took 80+ receiving yards at plus 130. When he's on the field, he just gets targeted a ton. It's like really all it comes down to. The only game in which he missed this is the game in which he played. So it's right now that's at plus 112. So it did move a little bit. But the only time Nico Collins didn't hit 80+ receiving yards was the game he played 13% of the snaps. In that game, he had 76 receiving yards because he had a 67-yard touchdown. The Cowboys play man at a slightly above average rate. They're horrible when playing man. They allow the most fantasy points per drop back when playing man coverage. And Nico Collins and CJ Stroud annihilate man coverage. So you could go touchdown for Collins. That's fine. I just think even if it's a blowout, like first game back, he's just going to get targeted a ton. Like he leads the NFL in receiving yards per game. In one game, he played 13% of the snaps. So I'll gladly go right back to Nico Collins. You'll never see this number as low as it is. And I get why, but like we saw AJ Brown miss a month plus with the hamstring injury, go back and was fine. I'm expecting Nico to do the same thing.
AJ, did you see Chabo's comment?
What did he say?
He said Toast should put a few shingles on the Dowdle touchdown.
Yep, I agree.
Yesterday on the live show, Toast was like, I'm going to put a few shingles on it.
A few shingles.
Yeah. Someone in the comments was like, shingles is a destructive skin disease or something, like define shingles. You're really betting the over. You're fading me.
No. So I'm not gonna bet it. I don't think I'm gonna actually get to the window. You're asking me, you got me on the show here. You're asking what is my best bet for the game. My best bet for the game is the pass. This game's a disgrace. I don't want to watch Cooper Rush football. It's gross. But I think this is the best bet for the game here. Last week was an utterly treacherous offensive effort by Cooper Rush and Dallas Cowboys. I mean, I'm certainly not blind to that, but the Eagles defense just may be the hottest in the NFL right now, and they just also may be his kryptonite. Listen to this. Cooper Rush, 2 starts against the Eagles. 113 yards per game, 50 completion percentage, 3.7 yards per attempt, and 44.8 average passer rating. The Cowboys combined for just 23 points in those games. Cooper Rush's 5 other starts, 95 average passer rating, 7.6 yards per attempt, 6 TDs, 1 interception. The Cowboys scored 20+ points in each of those 5 games, averaging 22 points per game. Now he's going to face a Texans defense that has performed significantly worse on the road. I think it's quite convenient that Kyle left this out, and that has been especially the case through the air. The Texans on the road allowing 25 points per game compared to just 19 at home, and their passer rating they've allowed is 40 more on the road compared to at home. The DVOA also 16% more on the road compared to at home. If the Cowboys could just have some decent offensive success here and make, one costly mistake, putting the Texans in scoring position, I really like our chances here because this Cowboys defense is an abomination. Deron Bland, he remains out here, and guess who is back for the Houston Texans? Nico Collins, who I just got notification, he's a full go tonight. Look how much more potent this Texans pass offense is. Keyword, pass offense was weeks 1 through 5 with him on board. Weeks 1 through 5, the Texans offense averaged 1.4 more yards per attempt and 23 more points in terms of passer rating with Nico Collins. Now, Kyle was arguing earlier that the offense overall wasn't that much more potent with Nico Collins. Well, guess who wasn't there most of that duration? Joe Mixon. Yeah, they were handing off the ball to fucking Dare Uguambale and Cam Akers, who they shipped off to Minnesota. Obviously, the offense wasn't that effective. They had no run game. Now with Joe Mixon back in the fold, who they have seen a much better run game. The last 3 weeks, yeah, hasn't been that great. But you got Nico Collins back in the fold. Teams aren't going to be able to stack the box against them as much. And the Cowboys, since week 3, I mean, their 6-man coverage rate, Nico Collins amongst 130 receivers with 25-plus routes against man coverage, 7th in yards per route run, 8th in air yard share. He is one of the best man coverage beaters in all of the NFL. And Trevon Diggs, I mean, pray for that boy's ankles. They're going to be taken tonight. So I'm just really not seeing it. And the fact that Stroud is top 12 in yards per attempt, passer rating, turnover-worthy play rate against pressure, and that is the only thing that this dog shit Dallas defense has going for it that's allowed 27-plus points in 4 straight games and 5 straight at home going back to their playoff disaster against Green Bay, and you got to take the over here.
Yeah, I disagree with almost every single thing you said.
First, you started off because you don't know ball. You're due for regression. 18-6 on the weekend. You're due for regression.
You started off by saying, Matt, he literally said, I think the Eagles are Cooper Rush's kryptonite. Are you implying that he is Superman? He is Clark Kent when he's not playing the Eagles. Are you crazy?
I think everybody could be Clark Kent on any given day. You just got to be your own Superman.
Any given Sunday. That's what that movie was about. I just like how you said, I got a notification like Shefty hit you up. Like, just heads up, Nico Collins full go tonight.
I'm expecting, just to further support an under, what type of football game are we expecting here? Mike McCarthy's going to come out with a super conservative game plan offensively, a lot of underneath throws. They're going to try to run the ball, and they might be able to run the ball a little bit. The Cowboys' run game actually has looked pretty good in the last couple of games, and I'm not expecting them to run it on Houston. I'm just saying they might run the ball just enough to move the chains a couple times. Rico Dowdle has looked pretty live. So I think the Cowboys can run the ball enough to actually support an over, meaning 2 first downs and a punt rather than a direct punt. Yeah, good luck.
Listen, I'm rooting for you because I didn't get to the window. You did, so I'm rooting for you. I just wanted to get into a quarrel. Okay, homie with the big feet. I accept your apology. But
all right, let's for the show. Why don't we all make a pick ATS right now at 7.5?
I mean, at 7.5, the problem is that this dude, I was Stroud on the road against the NFC, I think has 2 touchdowns total in 4 games. That's not tasty. But you know what also isn't tasty?
Who?
The fact that this Cowboys pass defense is a pile of dog shit. I can't ignore that.
The pass rush is back.
I don't give a fuck if it's back.
Oh, yeah, pass rush isn't important.
Just curious, who are those matchups against? Because like a 4-game sample size, NFC on the road, that's
1
like...
second. Let me pull it up for you. I could get that.
That sounds like just noise.
Yeah, it definitely sounds like noise.
You think I'm all static?
And that's what most of Prop Beaver's analysis is, noise.
Shut the hell up. You think I'm all static? I'll kill you.
At Minnesota this year. At Green Bay.
Minnesota, Green Bay, Carolina, and Atlanta. I mean, 2 of those defenses are absolute dog shit.
I'd say Green Bay's defense, too.
Green Bay's defense is good. And Minnesota's like and it was the whole thing is good defense versus bad defense.
You go to the extra bet section and put a Cowboys plus 7.5 graphic up for me. If we're making picks against the spread, I'll do Cowboys. Go ahead.
Sorry, to answer your question, if forced to choose a play, I would also lean 7.5. But I mean, I will at no point press submit on that bet. Just to be clear.
Yeah, I'm not actually betting that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you guys are sharps. You know what? I'm a Stroud boy. I'm riding with Stroud. You know,
called himself a Stroud boy.
Nico Collins over the top, on your head, on your dome. That's just as simply put as it could be.
That's fine with me. Look at the play to actually bet.
No, I see.
Collins.
I mean, maybe both your plays hit. I mean, according to Kyle, it's just gonna be the check down city. If that's gonna be how it's be, Dallas ain't covering shit tonight.
The Cowboys pass rush is back.
Back.
You'll see.
Back. All right.
Let's do a touchdown scorer parlay and get the hell out of here.
Okay. No college football tonight?
No, not on Monday.
Got it.
Speaking of college football, though, tomorrow, actually, I'll drop a video later. I bet Western Michigan, but I took a deeper look, and I don't know how much I like it.
I feel like we should get a Houston defense in the options of this poll. No,
Dude, Cooper Rush doesn't turn the ball over like that.
you are right. He probably has like one of the lower.
That's what I'm saying. Like, dude, Cooper Rush is like a 3-and-out guy. First down, 3. Like, he's not like the get blown out type of guy, even though the Cowboys did get blown out. I'm just
right.
saying, like, he doesn't make mistakes. He's just not very good.
Okay.
So let's for
Give me some
touchdown
options.
scores. Matt, can you read off give me Rico Dowdle, the odds? Do you have it in front of you?
Yeah, I can. Let's
Do you
see.
just have odds in front of you at all times?
Can you put a title touchdown score so they know what they're
Okay.
voting on? Title of the
Rico
poll.
Dowdle is plus 160 at Bet365.
Rico Dowdle plus 160. Okay, who else would they like? Probably Nico Collins, right?
Yeah, Nico is where the hell is Nico? I can't find his name. Nico Collins plus 130, also at Bet365.
Plus 130. Mixon, I guess, would be another one they would vote
Mixon's
for.
going to be super juiced. It's minus 175.
Screw
Boy,
Mixon then.
that's annoying.
What about CD Lamb? Is he's definitely playing, right? I mean,
He's playing. He's plus 240. I mean, the sun won't be in his eyes, so maybe he could actually
Okay,
score.
yeah, we'll take that.
can we get a Sun report before we place that? No, CD Lamb. And then who should the last one be?
We'll take another Texan. We'll do Schultz. We'll do revenge game Schultz.
Revenge game Schultz.
Yes.
350.
Oh.
Revenge
That's
game Schultz. All
All
right.
right.
So what's the community touchdown score here? Cast your votes. Cast your votes. I'm voting on this.
I know who your votes go. I don't even know if I said that.
No,
in
you didn't
proper
put
English.
Cooper Rush to run one in the poll. That's what I'm looking for.
Cooper Rush, ATTD.
Oh, play the
plus
song. They want
plus
the song.
1,000.
All right, we'll play this.
Play the song while they vote. They could play the song.
Anytime, touching it down, scoring and running around. It's the anytime, touchdown, scoring. Anytime you need touchdown. Yeah.
All right. Thanks for that. So it looks like Nico Collins is dominating the poll.
I mean, it just makes sense. The man coverage beater himself.
Diggs is going to be blanketing him.
With what? With what, a fucking
Dude,
napkin,
Diggs made
bro?
a sick pick last
With
week.
a napkin, bro? Get the hell out of here.
He did have a good pick last
That
week.
was
that's true.
it was huge too. Community touchdown score. Prop Beaver's typing it up now. Is Nico Collins plus 130. So this is what you guys voted for. Nico Collins plus 130. Prop Beaver can't post it until he gets the colors right. It's a disorder. And then you put the incorrect blue. They have
Down
more of
with
a
the
faded blue rather
sickness.
than a rich royal blue.
Maybe I like.
No, see, you went and fixed it because you
the
can't even
fuck up.
stand to have the wrong blue. You can't even stand it. All right, so the community touchdown scores, Nico Collins plus 130. That's what you guys voted for. Everyone, thanks for watching. Be back same time tomorrow. I'm uploading a video in about, I'll probably upload it in about an hour because there's no college football tonight. For tomorrow's MAC games, there's 3 of them. So look out for that. And yeah. Let's keep the momentum going. Just coming off a really good week. Hopefully that continues. Thanks for the support, everyone. Please remember to bet responsibly. If you need me, hit me up in the Discord.